Proper question. Chantelle, how you doing? Good morning.
How are you? Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Just want to thank you, obviously, for coming on the program and giving us an opportunity to interview you and talk to you about this big opportunity coming up here in July.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's pleasure to be on the show.
So just talk to us, man. Walk us through, I guess, that phone call, getting that call from Jake Paul and realizing you're going to be on this historic card.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was kind of out the blue as well. I had one more fight left with Queensberry due to a box June the 28th in the UK, but it all come around that I got signed by Jake Paul and was in talks with Nikisa at Most Valued Promotions, and it was the best move for me. And all parties involved knew it was a good move, so it was quite smooth sailing.
So how exactly did that work out? Did they buy you out of your contract? Because you said you still had one fight left.
No, no, it's kind of Queensbury just knew it was a better move for me, so it was really kind of them because they kind of let me go and
Oh
knew that
wow,
most valued promotions were signing all the females and knew that that's where I can get the big fights. I had a really good relationship with Queensbury.
that's amazing. You don't
Yeah,
normally
it's
see that. You
incredible.
know, they don't really like giving releases like that. So that's
Yeah,
credit to Frank Warren,
it
man.
was it was really good. It was and again that's why I got so much respect for the Warrens because they seen a big opportunity for me and instead of holding me back they pushed me and got me in contact with Most Valued Promotions and the teams went from there and there was actually part of getting the deal over the line as well. So yeah, it's unbelievable. You don't really hear about that much, but um they all pulled together for me.
Yeah, man, that sounds amazing. So, uh, being on this card, is there any pressure to try to outperform? There's so many names. Like, how do you not fall by the wayside with so many big names on this card? Is the point to make a statement?
Yeah, I want to steal the show. I want to put on a big performance and I want to steal the show. But at the same time, I've got to do what I can do. And I know as long as I perform how I know I can perform, I think I'll do that anyway. So I'm not going to put any pressure on myself. I'm just going to do what I do in the gym, turn up and remind everyone that the 140 belts, they belong to me. So the bigger picture.
It may seem like a long time ago, but man, maybe I shouldn't say it, but 15 years ago is when you decided to join a boxing gym and
Yeah.
transition from kickboxing. What are the differences between kickboxing and boxing, and how did boxing become your love? Obviously, you've stuck with this one.
So with kickboxing, I say this all the time. I actually think the kickboxing and Thai boxing training is a lot harder, physically a lot harder because obviously when you're kicking, you're exerting a lot of energy. But it come around because it was actually my kickboxing coach. He seen that I had good hands, had heavy hands, and he said to me, "I think you can do well in boxing, and you can make a career out of boxing." Where kickboxing that it isn't really a career, it's more of a hobby. And at the time it was costing my dad a hell of a lot of money to be getting opponents to fly in to fight me, taking me around the country to fight opponents, and it was just it was getting a bit of a heavy impact on my dad. So boxing, it was cheaper, made a career out of it, and I enjoy it.
So obviously, you were able to achieve, greatness when you defeated Katie Teller. Um,
Yeah.
what was that moment like for you doing it in Dublin?
Oh, it was the best night of my life to go to Katie Taylor's homecoming and spoil the party when had so many doubters doubting that I could beat Katie Taylor, but I knew that I had the style and had the ability to beat her to do it actually at her homecoming and spoil the party. I don't think I'll ever top that.
What do you think went wrong in the rematch?
I think in the rematch, I think her tactics were good for her to get the win. I think the referee certainly didn't help. He didn't score the knockdown when I jabbed her and she went flying and fell on her bum. The ref didn't count it as a knockdown. He said it was a slip, but it wasn't a slip. And her tactics, she was holding, she cut me with a headbutt, and it wasn't my night. The referee, I was trying to get him to stop her from holding, but he was having none of it. So I think the referee was a weak referee. Like he was letting things happen that shouldn't really been happening. It was frustrating, it was annoying, but Katie got the win and if her tactics worked on the night, so fair play to her, but she's not wanting to run it back since.
I was gonna say, is that a fight that you're still seeking, or do you think her and Amanda are gonna ride off into the sunset?
I think Amanda will win. I think Amanda will win the trilogy. And Amanda's not a 140-pounder. Amanda will go back down to her natural weight, and good on her as well. She deserves her own homecoming in Puerto Rico and to fight for the belts that she's comfortable in that weight division. But Katie Taylor, I don't know. Will she walk away or won't she? I'm not too sure. But I definitely don't think her and her team want to fight me again.
Well, I'm asking more from a like age, physical, mindset, mentality standpoint. Do you think that she wants to give the, boxing more years of her life after this trilogy with Amanda? Do you see her still boxing?
I don't know her personally, so I kind of can't answer that for mentally and how she feels, but physically you can see the decline in her. So does she know that? Is she aware of that? Are people around her saying to her, "You're declining. Your best days are going. Like you're not as good as what you was." Like that's just a fact. She's had some real hard fights and tough fights, and I don't think she is the same fighter she was a couple of years ago.
You've said that you wouldn't want to fight yourself because you're relentless. If you
Yeah.
had to fight a clone of Chantelle Cameron, what's the one weakness you'd exploit to
I
win?
can't give that out.
I,
I can't
I
give
figured. I
that
figured.
out.
How would you train for yourself then?
I'd train insane. I would I would put in the extra work and make sure I was getting my red zones in and being comfortable being uncomfortable because I'm a pressure fighter. I'm there all night and I'm gonna keep throwing shots.
So I read that you were inspired by John Claude Van Damme and
Yeah.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's hilarious
Yeah.
because I'm old, so I definitely am a blood sport and John Claude Van Damme fan. Never really got into Buffy,
I
but
love Buffy.
since you're into movies, if you had to make a movie about yourself, who would you choose to play your role? Chantel Cameron.
I say Angelique Jolie.
Oh, nice. Why her?
I I love Tomb Raiders.
Okay, okay.
I love them films, and she's a great actress, and I think she plays that role very well.
What would be that one scene you think that, if you put in your biopic, everyone would cry?
Um, what do you mean, my dogs?
You with your dogs?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so you're a dog mom. Got it. I asked because I recently watched Clarissa's movie Shields, and
yeah.
it was tough to watch. I didn't know that upbringing was that rough. I can see why she digs down so deep to become a champion. How was your upbringing? Was it anything similar? Was it rough? And yeah, what did you accredit being a champion to?
No, it wasn't Ratha. Yeah, I think I'm just a normal girl from a council estate. Had a good childhood, really. My mum and dad doing the best for me, and I was always I was always wanting to play, fight. I was quite an aggressive girl when I was like growing up, and I'm very grateful for my upbringing. I think was it easy? No, but it got me where I am today, and I think that's the difference. Where a lot of people do slag off people that are from council estates and look down at them, but I'm so proud of where I'm from because it's made me the woman I am today. So hats off to all the council people. Like shouldn't be shouldn't be an insult. You should be proud of it.
If you could be remembered for one thing in boxing specifically, whether that's the world titles you won, the knockouts, or changing the sport for women, what would it be and why?
I like it to be changing the sport for women because I feel like women's boxing still got a long way to go. I hope the younger generation get the opportunities that I've had and will continue getting, hopefully. And yeah, I think that's my outlook now on boxing is I want to inspire the next generation and keep the momentum moving with women's boxing because it took a bit of a dip the last year or two. And MVP are very much invested now into women's boxing and hopefully it's going to go on the rise again. And I'd like to be remembered for that.
Did you feel like, was there ever any doubt or, I don't know, you just questioning yourself, like, am I gonna make it to MVP? Because I'm just imagining myself on the outside looking in. You know, you got this entity signing all the best women in boxing, making unifications, and everyone is bragging about getting paid. I'd be wanting to go over there. Did you have that moment where you're like, "Shoo, I hope he's looking at me"?
Um, I kind of I've always spoke to Nikisa, so I didn't kind of think it would if it would happen. I was kind of like when it will happen. So I've got a good relationship with them, and that was before they signed me anyway. But it's a random one because I generally thought with the way women's boxing was going, especially in the UK, the hit it was taken. I thought this year would have been my last fight because I had one fight left for Queensberry, and women's boxing in the UK, it took a massive hit. Like the promoters weren't really putting the women on shows and women were finding it hard to get signed. So it's just come full circle. I think it's all happened at the perfect timing. I couldn't have asked for a better timing for how my career's moved this year.
You left Matchroom and Queensberry saying that they didn't push you enough. So, what's the real story behind those moves, and what do you need from your promoter right now to get you back to undisputed or to get you where, you know, whatever I guess level you believe you need to be on, whether that's accomplishing several different weight classes and becoming champion in those divisions, or just getting back to undisputed. Whatever you think is the totality of your career, how does the promoter help you achieve that?
So Queensbury were amazing. They did push me. They was so good, and again, that's why we've got a good relationship. And I'd never say nothing bad about Queensbury. They were brilliant, but they just couldn't get the fights that I wanted, that they wanted, and that was no fault of their own or my own. The fights were just wasn't there, and obviously a lot's happening in Saudi now as well, and there's not really any women fights in Saudi, so there was offers to get me out in Saudi, but it didn't come off. So with MVP, they signed all the top girls, so the fights are there to be made. They're all signed up to MVP, so it's gonna make the fights easy to make. Where Queensbury were trying, but they couldn't get them, and with MVP now, I'm hoping it's going to change, and I would like to become undisputed again, but we've got to see what happens with Kate and Amanda's fight and where they go after their fight.
For sure. Well, you certainly shook things up, switching the most valuable promotions, but training with
Yeah,
Swifty Smith. What made
yeah,
you
yeah.
switch to Swifty? Because I see that he's a former fighter, but just not on that level yet, right? Maybe he needs you to get him there in terms of showing how great of a trainer he is, but it seems like he's maybe new on the elite level as a trainer, but if you can explain.
Yeah, so he's quite a new trainer, but I can hand on my heart say he's the best trainer I've worked with in my pro career. He's
Really?
so invested. Yeah, he's unbelievable. I couldn't big him up anymore. He's unbelievable. And I said it to so many people, he's going to become the hottest trainer in the UK by far. And not even the UK, I think people will be traveling in to train with him when they see like how good of a trainer he is. And it's like boxers. And as he said, he's a previous fighter himself. You just need them nights where people see what you can do and what you're about. But I've never had a trainer so invested in me. Like he does my runs with me, he's pushing me, he's in the gym with me for my strength and conditioning. He's always there and motivating me, and he's got a great boxing brain, and everyone knows they're brothers as well, the four of them. So you're kind of getting four for the price of one. So it's definitely the best move I've made, and it made sense. And also, he's a great guy. But I say to everyone, he's going to become the most popular trainer. He's that good.
All right, I'd like to set up an interview. I wasn't aware that he was training until you got with him. Um,
Yeah,
you talked about struggling with confidence early. Obviously, you've gotten over that. You've become a world champion, but you spoke about that when you first got into boxing and being a woman in boxing. How did you deal with it early on, and what sort of advice can you give professionals, right? Because I interviewed Shadeja Green, who's going to be on the card,
yeah.
and she spoke about some of her earlier MVP fights and how that, you know, 30,000 people being there for her fight and not even Jake's yet, it was a bit overwhelming, and her performance to her wasn't the best. So, how do you get over struggling with the confidence and get comfortable?
So for me, I basically just blank it out because I think if you focus on who's going to be there, the surrounding, it can have a negative impact on you. So for me personally, I've just learned how to deal with that and block it out. And I just go tunnel vision. So I've got very good at getting into my mindset of just blacking out. It's a corridor and it's just me in the ring. And my focus is getting to that ring. And then as soon as I get there, it's me and my opponent. So for me, it's just how I trained my mind to ignore the noise and focus on what's in front of me. But to begin with, I used to really struggle with my nerves. And I do get nervous now because obviously you want to perform, you want to win, and you want to look good doing it. But if I didn't get nervous, I knew there was a problem. So I kind of embrace my nerves now and kind of use them for my own benefit. It fuels my fire. But especially during the ring walk, I just completely block everything out and go into my tunnel vision and just think, get to the ring. It's going to be me and my opponent. As soon as the bell goes, there's nothing you can do. Everything changes. It's just a fight.
You've pushed for 3 minute rounds in women's boxing. Some say it's risky. You know, others want equality. I've been to numerous WBC conventions where I feel that the boxers, the female boxers, you guys are split. Some want 12 2 minute rounds, others want 10 3 minute rounds. What's your stance? Why do you push for 3 minutes? Yeah.
So 3 minutes suits my style because my work rate and style. I could do 3 minutes, and that's just personal to me that I know that I can do 3 minutes and I'd still keep a good pace. But on the other hand, I see the argument for 2 minute rounds. It makes the women's pace a lot more entertaining. It's a fast pace, lots of punches. So I think with the 3 minute rounds, if the WBC and other sanctioning bodies won't sanction the fights, I think why not do 12 twos? So my fight, I actually wanted to do 3 minute rounds, but because of the WBC interim and my next fight, I'm due to fight for the main WBC. I couldn't do it for this fight again because I wouldn't be able to fight for the WBC interim. But I'm pro 3 minute rounds. Or if the 3 minute rounds can't happen, then 12 twos.
So don't kill me for this, right? But like,
Yeah,
obviously, I follow women's boxing very closely, and I love Beatrice Ferreira. You know, I think
yeah,
that she's like a mini Canelo with all that lateral waist movement, how she's able to pull and slip and land counters. But she's been pushing
yeah.
for 3 minutes from the beginning. Amanda's been
Yeah,
pushing for
she's a
three
brilliant
minutes.
fighter. Yeah.
But y'all not getting a knockout. Again, don't kill me for this, but it's like you're
Nah,
pushing for this three
yeah,
minutes, but it's not. There's no difference. Like she beat this last girl up. They should have threw the towel in because the other girl
yeah,
is not landing. You're slipping, hitting with momentum, and you still not getting her out of there. So again, I'm not trying to be like
yeah.
mean, but like,
No, I do get that.
does
I
it
do
really
get that.
matter?
But I think as well, like if you want equality and you want to push women's boxing, then we should be doing what the men are doing because we're doing the same training and we're probably sparring 3 minute rounds. probably doing pads 3 minute rounds. So why not just fight 3 minutes? And I think a lot of women will quit because because of the pace as well. It kind of like shows who really wants it and who doesn't. Because I know when I've boxed 2 minute rounds, I've hurt them, and next thing the bell goes and they have a minute to recover. So there isn't like mad knockouts and stuff, but you are going to hurt your opponent and you've got an extra minute to get them out of there. Whereas with 2 minutes, like your time's up. It's literally like the bell goes in, the bell goes again. It just goes way too fast.
As the first British woman to become undisputed, you broken barriers. Do you feel like the United Kingdom hasn't gotten behind you the way they do with men? Because I'm from America, obviously you can hear,
Yeah.
and I've been doing this 14 years. I have not ever not said that the UK boxing fans are the best fans.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Billy Joe and who was that? Chris Eubank. They were like 11-0 and 13-0,
Yeah.
and you guys had like 13,000 people there. You fill up stadiums. Do you feel that they are behind you the way that they should as the first ever female undisputed fighter from the United Kingdom?
UK fans are brilliant. UK fight nights, literally, you can't beat them. But I also think that's down to promotion as well. I don't think I've been promoted the best. So I don't think that's the fans' fault. I think it's more, I've not really had the promotion.
Got it, got it. I got a few questions from the people. We'll get you out of here. Ruin the 504, which is the New Orleans here in America. He says, what's your opinion on Jake Paul and everything he's doing for women's boxing?
I think Jake Paul saved women's boxing. I think it was in a bit of a bad place because all the boxing was going to Saudi, and there's not many women fights in Saudi, so women's boxing was taking a huge hit. And Jake Paul's come along and they've saved women's boxing. They've signed the elite fighters. They're putting on a female only card, and if it wasn't for Jake Paul and MVP, who knows where women's boxing would be heading?
Absolutely. Next one is from Toledo Treese in Ohio that says, how likely is Holly Holmes or Cyborg fight at 147 for you?
I was actually in talks with both of them. Well, not me personally. My teams were in talks. It was an option, and I was up for that, but not for this one. But that was offered and that was spoken about, and I thought it was really exciting. It would have been unbelievable to share the ring with two legends in their combat sport. And obviously, Holly Holmes has been a boxing world champion before, but um, it didn't go any further than talks. So hopefully, in the future, it can happen.
I got Octo that says, what's your favorite music artist? And give us one good movie we should watch.
My favorite music artist is always Pop Smoke. I love Pop Smoke. It gets
No
me in the
way.
mood. Yeah, I love
That's
Pop Smoke.
hilarious. I love that. I love that. Man, he died too
Movie.
young for sure because I love that voice.
Yeah, I love Pop Smoke. Movie. Oh, I love movies. Tell me what it's called on Netflix at the minute. Is it called Safe or I think it
Oh my,
could be called Safe. Oh,
wait,
unbelievable.
is it the Taraji P. Henson movie?
Is it where
Safe?
she robs the bank and she didn't mean to rob the
Yes,
bank?
yes, yes.
Oh,
Hey, yo, Chantelle, get
unbelievable.
out of here. You part of the
Unbelievable.
culture. Shout out to Chantelle. Oh my God, we were just talking about that movie on here. Listen, I thought she had
Oh,
an
unreal.
amazing.
Wow.
She did an amazing job. Her role, her acting was next level. But there was some supporting
Unbelievable.
cast there that were
Unbelievable.
bad. I mean, there was some supporting cast that were bad. Some of that writing was
Such a good
horrible.
film.
But the film itself did it make you
Next
cry?
level. So good. I was so close. It was so emotional.
So
And I wasn't
close, you
expecting
didn't
the
cry?
end.
Oh man,
I
now
was
you're making me
close.
feel
I was
weak.
close. I was
I
like
was
that. I was having to
my
be
wife
like,
turned
wow,
over
this
and
is
started wiping
intense.
my wife started wiping the tears for me. I'm like, I'm not crying, that's allergies, man. No,
Oh,
it was
it
a
was
tough one.
such a good film. Such a like wow, it was so powerful.
Yes.
Unbelievable. So definitely would be watching that.
How did you
Unbelievable film.
not cry
One
when
of the
she's
best
pouring her
films.
heart out? She's telling her story. They secretly recorded her. How didn't you cry? Oh my gosh, Chantel. All right,
I
you're
was
made for this.
close.
You're tough.
uh, it was, yeah, such a good film.
It was. It was. Um, a couple more. We got One Way Renzo that says, I have a daughter, 8 years old. She watches boxing with me on Sunday mornings to rewatch fights. She recently asked about going to the gym with me. What's your advice, if any, on exploring the sport more with my little one?
Definitely, I think boxing or any combat sport is good for any young child. It teaches so much about life skills, discipline, hard work. There's so much, and I was 10 when I started kickboxing. Obviously, 8 is young, but just getting her through the door and getting a bit of a vibe for the gym and see what people do. 100%, you should definitely take her along.
I have B3 boxing picks out of Virginia. Thank you for your time and coming to the Boxing Voice. My question is, what are some of the sacrifices you make to be a great fighter and a world champion?
So I'm away from home constantly. I'm from Northampton and I travel 3 hours on a Monday to come to Liverpool and then 3 hours back on a Friday. And obviously it's pretty lonely and boring, but it's the way it works for me for training camps. I can be in the zone, focus, and no distractions. And obviously making sure that you're doing all your training, your dieting, you're living good, you're sleeping well. So there's a lot of sacrifices that you've got to make, and I also believe in like showing that I've got no quit because I think if you have quit in you and you kind of quit during your training sessions or quit on your diet, then you could quit on your fight. So I always am quite a strong believer that I've got no quit in me, and I live by that.
Wait, so you go home for the weekends?
Yeah, just the weekends. It's a long, long drive.
During camp?
Yeah. I miss my
So
family.
I was gonna go there. So you're married.
No, no, not married, just my brother, my mum, my dad. I miss my dogs. So I just go
What?
home
Uh
for the
oh. I thought
weekend.
I thought Chantelle was tough. You got that soft heart. You going back for the dogs? Wow. 3 hour
I love my
drive.
dogs.
3 hour drive for the dogs. I hear you, man. I got two dogs. I can't
It's
help.
worth it.
I know it is. It is. We got Juice that says, "Yo, Juice from Broward County, Florida. Even though you're with Jake, would you ever consider fighting on a Turkey a la Sheik card?"
Mm. Yeah, like never say never. If the opportunity came, obviously I'm with Most Valuable Promotions now, and I've got a multi-fight deal with them. But I'd never close the door on any promoter because you never know what could be offered to you or what the opportunity could be. But when you're in a contract, you live your contract out, and I think Most Valuable Promotions are going to be good for me.
Ali and Dago says, "What's up, Chantel? Who's your favorite women's boxer? Excuse me, women's fighter and male fighter of all time?" So he said fighter, but I'm assuming he means boxer.
So I'm actually gonna say it's not a boxer, but I love Amanda Nunes. I think she's an
Okay.
absolute legend. She's unbelievable. And male boxer Mike Tyson all day long. He's unbelievable. He's my favorite boxer. He's a hero. And I remember when I first went into boxing before I even boxed, I used to just watch him and kind of like mimic his style because of his aggression and power. Absolutely love him.
Did you think Franchon Cruz won that fight
What fight?
versus Ortiz? You didn't see Franchon just
Oh,
fight?
is that the latest one? I didn't
Yeah,
see
that was
that. No,
Friday.
I
That was
didn't.
this. Okay.
No, I didn't. I missed that one, so I can't comment. Was it a
I,
close fight?
it was competitive. I don't really know that it was close.
Yeah.
More than I think people maybe weren't expecting Ortiz to do that well or to have that
Okay.
style either. She had a, I don't want to use the phrase watered down, but for lack of a better phrase, watered down Beatrice Ferreira style. Like it was definitely punching in
Okay.
combinations, a lot of head movement, but
Slipping.
she was so short that sometimes doing some of that lateral movement, Franchon would just lean on her like Vladimir Klitschko.
Okay. I didn't catch up on that.
I have the last one is from Quest in Virginia. He says, "What's up? Blind rank these so-called washed boxers you think could win a world title one more time. 1 through 5, 5 names. First one, Wilder. So 5 being the least, one being
Okay. Wilder, heavyweight boxing, uh, 4,
Manny Pacquiao.
3,
Earl Spence Jr. He's been out the ring going on 2 years now. Hasn't fought since that July 29th fight.
3.
You can't put two people in three.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, 2.
Okay. Uh, Anthony Joshua.
Heavyweight boxing, I'm gonna say 1.
Okay. And Ryan Garcia.
Oh God, 5, but yeah.
Wow, five. All right, Chantelle. Those are all the questions. If you could please give out your social media. Actually, we didn't even ask about your opponent. I'm so sorry. Disrespectful of me. What are your thoughts on your opponent, Jessica Camara, right? That's how you pronounce the last name?
Yeah, just Jessica Kamara. I think it's a great opponent for me. I think our styles would gel well together. She's a good fighter, but I think I'm just a level above.
Yeah, I've seen that she's lost to lighter women, Callie
Yeah,
Reese, and but she did have a draw with Dubois. That was impressive because Dubois is a quote unquote puncher. Do you believe Dubois is a
yeah.
puncher? And what did you think of that last performance?
So I actually haven't watched the fight, but
Oh,
obviously my coach has been watching over it a lot, and apparently Kamara was like she was getting beaten up, and it was a draw because of a head clash. But again, I've not watched it personally, but I've seen a few highlights where my coach has said like, "Look at this," because of our tactics, he's showing me stuff, and like with what we're gonna do, like tactically. And Caroline, she would have ended up stopping Jessica Kamara. She was on top too much.
are you expecting a stoppage?
No, no, I never look for the stoppage. I just look for the win. And if a stoppage comes, the stoppage comes.
All right. Um, Mary Spencer from Canada. What's your thoughts on
Yeah.
her?
Don't really know much about her. I know that she was a great amateur. She's had a few losses now. And yeah, I don't really know too much about her. When I was in the amateur scene, we were at different times, so I just heard about her a bit on the GB squad.
And the last one, obviously, you fought Mary McGee. It seems like you
Yeah,
partially
yeah.
retired her, man. I used to love that girl. And then after your
Do you
fight,
know
she had
what?
one more fight, and then that was it. She hasn't fought since 2023. Have you heard from her? And what's your thoughts on her? Do you
So
expect her to
I
make a
tell you
comeback?
something. She is the best fighter I've actually boxed against, and she's so good. And she gave me that fight where it opened my eyes and thought I need to be better. So I've got so much respect for Mary McGee. I think she would beat so many top names. I think she really would beat so many top operators. I think she's aggressive. She can punch. She's tough. She's fit. She's got it all. So I would love to see her back in the ring. She's been my toughest fight today.
Do you feel like that's the fight where you had to bring the dog out of you, that you had to
Yeah,
kick
she
up the
brought the dog
most?
out of me. Yeah, she brought that dog out of me and she made me bite down on my gum shield and I don't think I've ever had that before. And she definitely brought that out of me. She brought me to the deep waters and it was a great fight as well. And I got a lot of respect for her.
Well, Chantelle, man, I appreciate you. If you have time, we just got a couple of last minute questions from these late people that are
Yeah.
watching the interview live now, if you want to answer a few more.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have Contrell from the United Kingdom. He says, what is the best way fans can support your career at this point?
I'd say follow my Instagram at ShanCam91 and I'll be boxing on Netflix, so tune in.
And I got Talk Trends that says, what world champion have you sparred who are men?
I used to spar Jack Catterall. Um, but sorry, he weren't a world champion, but like contender for a world champion. Years ago, I done a bit of a move back with Carl Frampton, a former world champion. Um, yeah, that's about it.
Major Media says, for those who haven't seen your fights before, can you describe your fighting style in 3 words?
Aggressive, high work rate, and relentless.
And the last one from Connecticut, Cliff says, I have you on my pound for pound number 2. You beat or had a draw at the best in the second fight against Taylor. You were robbed of that knockdown in the early rounds, which was the difference at the end. So when will you give us the super fight against Alicia Bumgarner, the bomb? Then take out that uber talented Lauren Price. Are they ducking you? Lauren is a bad mother effer.
So yeah, they're both great fights. They both interest me, but at the moment I'm kind of hanging on to seeing what Katie is going to do at 140 if she wins. But again, if she doesn't win, the belts are going to be up in the air again. So at the minute, I'm going to focus on Jessica Camaro because I wouldn't want to disrespect my opponent that's in front of me right now because I wouldn't want to be complacent. Um, but them fights in the future, they're great names, great fights, and I can get my teeth stuck into. But we've got to see what happens.
Well, Chantelle, those are all our questions. I hope you enjoyed this. We'd love to keep getting you
Thank
back on,
you.
after your win, get you for the victory lap, and maybe a little sooner because we still got actually
Weeks.
32 days left, right? Or no,
Yeah,
31.
yeah,
So we could get you
yeah.
back on a little sooner if you and your team have time for it. But we appreciate you. If you could give out that social media one
Uh,
more time for the people that aren't following you.
yeah, it's at ShanCam91.
Thank you so much, and look forward to the next
Thank
one.
you.
Thank you. There
Thank
you
you.
have it,
Take
ladies
care.
and
Bye bye.
gentlemen. Chantelle Cameron. That was actually